Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lock Pod, your favorite podcast. It's
They don't have a choice.
Season 5, Episode 5. There's a lot of choices, Kevin.
True.
What's up?
What are we rising in Ghana?
I hope
We haven't
so.
checked our rankings in Ghana, John.
We haven't
lately.
checked our rankings
Anywhere.
period. That
No.
would require extra effort.
We don't have any extra effort right now.
Not right now.
We're just rolling.
I'm not criticizing anybody, by the way, because my team is kicking ass right now. We'll get to that when we talk about Mayor Tom on the road.
Yes. Mayor Tom's Travels
Mayor Tom's Travels. How's it going, Joe?
Well, I
for a
got
Tuesday.
caught by 3 trains on the way here, so
And you still beat me here.
It's good.
That's
What a
awesome.
planner.
I don't think Jill has not ever beaten me.
No.
here. I'm always like right before the show.
Just the talent rolls in
anxiety,
late.
that's all.
But I'm not. It's not like I'm messing around in the morning. I'm like getting ready for the show. Like
Yes.
I read both newspapers already.
Look at you.
I showered.
Do you want like a
but I
gold
didn't
star
shower.
for that?
I didn't shower. I'll be honest with you.
Thank you.
What's up, Baz? How you doing?
Shower's coming later.
Good
Shower
morning.
is extra effort. How's it going, John?
Good. Great
Sorry about-
MLK event yesterday.
I'm sorry about the other day when I jumped your ass in the morning.
I'm not sure
Oh,
about
I
that.
heard that,
No,
John.
that's true sincerity.
Oh.
That's
Where's the
sincere
apology music?
Yeah.
No, if you remember when I was jumping your ass, I followed it up shortly thereafter with I know you're working hard. However, we need to get this freaking show on air. I was driving to Marshall County. Plymouth, right. And I wanted to listen to the pod. It was Friday morning, and the pod
Saturday.
it was Saturday morning, and the pod wasn't listed. And I was like,
What do you mean not listed? You mean, like,
WTF.
not on?
It wasn't on. It didn't download on Apple Pod. And usually, when we do a show, it's usually downloads probably in the afternoon.
Sometime on Friday or Tuesday.
Usually like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, in that ballpark. And so I was thinking by Saturday morning I wanted to listen to the show again because it was a great show. We had Destiny Scott Wells in the studio.
She was great.
She was great. We had that was the day we talked about Blair Milo running for Congress, and
That's why it was called Patting Yourself on the Back, I think was the name of
Right.
the episode. Patting myself on the back.
so I was going to listen on Saturday morning. It wasn't downloaded, and I was frustrated with our IT guy.
Wow.
I was, and it was like 6 in the morning.
You mean our producer?
And I like fired off a crappy text at like 6 in the morning without like investigating. I just assumed that
Kind of jumped the gun.
it was probably jumping the gun, but it was Saturday morning, and it wasn't about me being mad because I couldn't listen because I could just listen on Facebook. I was thinking,
We want our people.
dude, we
Our
get most of
subscribers.
our listeners listen to Apple Pod. Let's be honest, and if Apple Pod's slow to post, most of our listeners aren't getting a show, and it was a great show with a great guest. So I fired off a shitty text, and then when I realized that John was currently getting ready to drive to South Bend to knock on doors, I felt like a little bit of an asshole. I'll be honest with you. John, is that accurate?
Yes. Everything you're saying is accurate.
That was a little bit of an asshole. I mean,
Um,
decently sized.
So for everyone watching and everyone wondering if you were looking forward to seeing this on Apple Podcast on Friday and it wasn't there, I'm starting to think Tim Cook is a Todd Young fan
Really? Is that what it is?
because it was on every platform except Apple Podcast.
Even
Now-
Stitcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I listened to it on Spotify, which is unusual. I usually
Right.
listen on Apple Pod.
I don't even
So
have Spotify.
right when it published Friday afternoon, it was up on everything except Apple Podcasts.
That's how you knew it wasn't your problem because you post all at once. You post to
For sure.
multiple. You post to all the platforms at one time, though, right?
Yes, in so many words.
So
Yeah.
if Spotify has it and Apple Pod doesn't, it's not your fault. It's definitely
Apple
Apple Pod. Gotcha.
Yeah, so
What's
I
up,
mean,
Tim Cook?
Look, 122 episodes in, I've never let you guys down. So you got to
that's
know
true.
that, number one.
That's true.
So I mean, I opened up a support ticket with Apple, no response. They don't care. And finally Sunday, it was Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunday, I just thought, man, I gotta do a couple things here, delete this thing, put it back up, and they finally grabbed it. So.
So like if you didn't, so what you ended up doing, scrammed Spotify and all of our stats, which sucks. So like
Yeah,
that
they're kinda
episode,
gone.
that episode's gonna have low stats now.
we don't look at
forever.
them anyway.
I was going to say, when do we look at our
I do look
stats?
at them,
Really?
but
Weekly?
no, I don't look weekly. I wish I could. If you gave me weekly reports, I would look at them. But the thing is, the only
Steve.
way John could get Apple Pod to take it is to scram everything and start from scratch again.
Well, it worked. Great
Yeah.
work, John.
Yeah.
So it
Thank
definitely
you.
was an Apple problem, right?
100%.
Okay. And so the reason we're talking about this on the air is because we had a lot of people questioning, hey, what's going on with episode 4?
Yeah, I can't listen to it.
We had a great guest that drove all the way up to the region to be on, and, I didn't want, and so what we're saying is in the future, should this problem arise again, and we hope it doesn't, I mean, this is
John will fix it.
This is the first time in 120-something episodes it's happened, but if it does happen, you do have other options. Obviously, Facebook Live, YouTube, Spotify. What other options are out
Stitcher,
Stitcher,
iHeart,
Overcast. I don't know. There's a bunch of random ones.
Randos.
Pretty much where podcasts are available, you can catch our show. I mean, there have been times on Friday when it takes a few hours longer for Apple to get it up than other ones, but never this long.
Right.
So, and there's Destiny in the chat. I was wondering where it was myself.
Well, we just, we didn't want.
Yeah, we were holding it back.
No, that's what I didn't want Destiny or anybody to think that, and that's what it starts to get weird because
Right.
it's usually up Friday afternoon and it wasn't up, and I'm sure supporters of Destiny that were listening to the show are like, why didn't they post it? They post every other show, but they choose not to post this one. So I'm glad that we cleared this up, John, so that there's no misconception about what happened, and I appreciate you. John was working overtime this weekend in a number of ways.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
Can I
never let us
conclude
down.
this?
Sure.
All those watching, all those massive audience of fans, you can count on me. So if it's not there, go to Spotify.
Don't
and it will
blame
be
me.
there. Don't blame me.
By the way, this is the nicest I've ever been to John on the air. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to be a smart ass at all. I'm just going to go along with it. Okay. Cause I owe John an apology. So I'm going to be nice for a while.
We haven't had Tom's apology segment in a while.
No,
I know. I have a
guess this
couple.
is it.
I have a couple.
All right, we'll load
that
him
was
up
as
for
close.
next.
That was as close as it's going to get for Vesmar. So
By the way, before we get off of Destiny, because she was a great guest last week, you should listen to that episode. And our latest and greatest addition to our mess here, our wall, is Destiny's button right there.
yeah, right in the middle. Look at that,
right
front
there.
and center.
Nice.
Yeah,
So thanks, Destiny, for the swag.
right. And that whole thing with the flag, I'm glad we talked about that with Destiny. I'm glad that's her logo, really. And if anybody's got a problem with it, she wore that on her Army uniform. I think if you wear it on your Army, it's like when I wear my lapel pin with the submarine dolphins.
Yeah,
I
you have
can
a
do
right
that.
to wear that.
It's super small too. It's like an inch, but still, it's like, hey, I earned these. So Destiny, if she wants to wear that flag and you want to criticize her for it, just bite your lip because she earned that flag. So, and I'm glad she was a great guest. I'm looking forward to having her back on.
Yeah, thanks for coming up live. That was cool.
Yeah. Hey, Jill,
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to be happy with me.
Oh, no.
Something
Probably not.
happened yesterday where I almost gave in. And, well, I actually did give in, being honest with you. It's about jalapenos.
You went and ate there.
No, I did not. However,
You've forgiven them.
No. It was a sin because I was going to. And I'm going to tell you the story, okay? So as everybody knows, jalapenos and I have a history. It's a really... It's a good restaurant. It's and I love Mexican food, and it's quality
You
Mexican
have a
food.
history. It's like he's talking about an old girlfriend.
It is.
We've got jalapenos and I
it
have
is like
a
an old
history.
girlfriend. My dad used to be owner of this place, so I have a long history with jalapenos, and I love the food. Okay. However, I noticed over the last couple of years the service has gotten sloppy, and then they screwed me with a double tip one time, and then another time they were rude to me, and they wouldn't seat us until all of us were there, even though 5/6 of us were there,
And the restaurant wasn't busy.
and the restaurant wasn't busy. So anyway, Patrick's birthday today, by the way.
Happy
Whoa.
birthday, Patrick.
16, sweet 16.
Ooh.
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday.
Pat. He's probably still on his way to school. Nope, never mind. He'll listen to it later.
On Apple Pod whenever it gets up.
Yeah, he won't even do that. I love you, Pat. If you do listen, surprise me and tell me you
birthday,
did.
Patrick.
Anyway, so we have a family get together whenever one of us has a birthday party, and usually we go to a place like House of Kobe. But Patrick also has a weakness for Mexican food.
Who doesn't, though, honestly?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Don't
Especially
trust
where
someone
we
who
live.
doesn't.
I
Right.
agreed.
Absolutely.
Also, John.
We have the best Mexican food restaurants where we live too. I mean, honestly, I grew up in California, which also great Mexican food, but out here in the region, it is solid. So
we are lucky.
yeah, we are lucky. So anyway, Pat's,
And you count jalapenos as one of those.
yeah, I mean, just crappy service, and
Okay.
they don't treat
But
their
good
customers.
food.
They don't treat their customers very well. If you can get through all that, the food is good. Okay. So anyway, Patrick says I want to go to jalapenos, and I'm like, I'm going to taste so
I'm in a
much
dilemma.
shit. Yeah, dude. And I'm like, Pat, I can't. I have a problem going to jalapenos because I'm on a podcast, and
Yeah,
so I was
but it's
just
his
like,
birthday and he gets a pick.
I was like, all right, we're going to jalapenos. Okay. And then Marissa's like, can you make the reservation? Because the reservation is for 15.
Okay.
It's a big party.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I cannot call jalapenos, dude. I'm going to have to tell everything that happens in the podcast when I get there. So I'm like, Marissa, would you at least, I'm already getting a hit for this. Would you at least make the details? So she does. And then she calls me back like a half hour later. She's like, hey, we're going to the Woo House on 65 and 30. It's hibachi. Okay, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. So, and I'm like, okay, good. I'm not going to take shit from the pod, right? So I get there, and Marissa tells me the story. So she calls up Jalapenos.
Oh, no.
We got a party of 15 on a Monday night.
Okay.
I can't imagine it's super busy, right?
I wouldn't think.
And she's like, hey,
it's a holiday, though.
It's my kid's 16th birthday. We wanted to bring 15 people to Jalapenos to eat dinner and drink a whole bunch. We're going to spend a lot of money. And they're like, we don't do tables of 15.
Come on.
So Marissa's like, we've done this before with you guys. You guys just push 2 big tables together and we take a whole corner. It's a Monday night. And they're like, no. The lady's like, I've been here over a year. I've never seen anything like that.
Come on.
And Marissa's like, well, can you? She's like, no, but if you get here, there's not going to be anybody here. If you get here, we'll seat you and we'll push them together.
Sounds risky.
So Marissa's like, okay, but one time we went there and you guys wouldn't seat us when we had 5 out of the 6 people there. Are you gonna do the same thing to us with a table of 15? Because sometimes people lag in. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to seat you.
Come on.
We're not going to seat you until all 15 of you are there.
On a Monday night.
On a Monday night. And Marissa's like, so you're not telling me if you're going to put a table together. You're telling me you're not going to sit us. Like,
and you're going to make 12 of us stand in the lobby until Lindsay gets there.
And then the ladies, and then like, well, I'm not going to say that. Whoever is late, right?
Whoever's late.
But like, and then Marissa's like, it's almost like you guys don't even really want us to come. And she's like, well, we just don't normally do parties as large as yours. And Marissa says, okay, well, we're just going to go someplace else and spend our money.
Woo House.
And the lady was literally like, okay, have a nice day, ma'am.
Wow.
It's like, are you kidding me, Jalapenos?
Maybe it's a
Monday night and you're turning down a party of 15. That we're like begging. We want to bring our kid there. He wants to come to your place. That just proves good food, shitty service. Wow. Jalapenos. What a crappy restaurant, man. They have the crappiest management I've ever seen. Like, it's almost like they're going out of their way to tell you why you shouldn't go there.
Right.
Please don't come, because if you come here, then we have to work harder.
And don't bring a large party to
whatever
a restaurant
you do
on a Monday night.
And if you have a party, if 14 out of 15 of you, we're going to make you wait in the lobby, right?
Crowd our lobby.
Instead of ordering margaritas and ordering food and appetizers, we don't want you to do that. We want you to sit out here making nothing from the restaurant. What a bump. So anyway, we go to the Woo House.
Yes.
Hibachi, 65 and 30. Amazing service. Nice people. Awesome food.
Did they take the table of 15?
They took the table of 15 happily. It was a Monday night. Like, we spent a bunch of money on Patrick's 16th birthday that he wanted to spend at Jalapenos, and they pushed us away.
Off to the Woo House.
I had not taken crap for it on the pod because I didn't officially go there, but my heart was not pure. There's a silver lining. My heart was not pure.
Because you would have gone.
I was going.
My heart was not pure. That might be the title.
Jalapenos made Patrick cry.
Yeah, well, Patrick loved the Woo House. The Woo House is, I'm telling you, spectacular.
All right, there you go.
By the way, and I go to House
Don't
Kobe
go too far. We need him as a sponsor.
I'm telling you, man. It was top notch. It was way better. I mean, way better in House of Kobe, which is usually the go-to.
For hibachi. That is your go-to.
Did Marissa say your guys' name?
No.
Okay, because I'm wondering.
I was wondering that. I told her specifically not to, John. Okay. I'm like, they're going to spit my food.
This sounds like Marissa McDermott.
Sure. They're like, is this Marissa McDermott? Is your husband going to be there? It's like, I am not. I almost was going to go and not eat food because I'm like, they're going to spit in my food.
Sure.
Maybe.
Right. So
it's like that Seinfeld episode.
The hottest Mexican restaurant. We don't want any customers, though, but we have good food. But no customers. Stay at home.
What's your fake name if you have to do like a reservation like that?
I don't have one.
Think about that.
Work on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, let's do some ads.
All right.
You want to? And then we got Lockpod in the news, stuff like that. You
Above the fold. We're going to get to that.
You want to pound out all these, or you want to do them one at a time?
Up to you.
All right, let's just go.
Great guest after the ads.
Yes. Yes. By the way, stay tuned.
Why don't we just pound through these?
Michael Leppert's going to be on right after the top of the hour, and he is an unbelievable columnist, blogger, author, and
professor.
Professor at the Kelly School.
And he was a lobbyist. That's how I first met him.
Absolutely.
Wow. Lobbyist. Let's just pound all these out, Kevin, and then we can do our couple stories. And
go right ahead.
All right, let's go. Season 5 is powered by our premier sponsor, Powering America. With the explosive growth of renewable energy in America today, call Powering America to meet your needs for renewable energy in your home or office, including electric vehicle charges and solar-powered solutions. Trust the electrical professionals of, that's right, Powering America. Visit poweringnorthwestindiana.org.
Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time within budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions you can count on. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana For over 30 years, Misprint has 2 convenient locations in Munster and in Hammond. Thank you, Rick, for the metal card.
Executive Suite Squared. They should give us something we could throw against the table, too. Like Rick does.
Maybe like a cappuccino or an espresso.
Executive Suite Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment located on 8094 at Kennedy Avenue. ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with 24/7 secured access. So no matter how big or small your business may be, they can accommodate the way you work. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit them at executivesuites2.com.
Challenger Learning Center. This Valentine's Day, embark on a date night like no other to create a love connection for a lonely Mars rover. Join Challenger Learning Center on Saturday, February 12th from 5 to 8 p.m. at a brand new Red Planet romance event with dinner and drinks presented by Byway Brewery. Register today at clcnwi.com.
That was funny, John.
I love the background.
Did you like that?
Yes.
John, embark on a date like no other, and John's like,
Who doesn't love a date night like
no other?
It was just, it was like a creepy though.
No, I thought it was like a.
I thought it was creepy.
That sounds interesting.
No, it was like, like.
Which was it, John? Whose mind is in the gutter? Tom's or mine?
I heard what I heard. Jill is the referee.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's where your brain
I'm
is.
not getting involved in this.
Really? What was it, John?
So it makes it a little of both.
All right, there you go.
Calumet
Not
Brewery.
taking sides.
Let's get the new year started with Michelob Ultra. Ultra has only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, so it is sure to keep your resolutions in check while continuing to be one of the fastest growing brands nationally and in the region. Why is it 2.6 carbs? Why don't they just round up?
They did.
2.6. Like, really?
They want to make it
can't
more
round
like
than
one
2.5.
freaking carb. You can't round up 0.4 carbs.
I mean,
No, you
People are
can't
that
round
serious.
up.
you want to
round
know?
down.
People
It's
count
like
their
2.6 carbs.
People count their carbs.
It's like-
I would run with 3. If you said 3 carbs, I'm not going to not buy it.
It's like when something's $9.99, it's better than if it's 10.
Really?
2.6.
It's a mental thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Take your resolutions to the next level and try organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs.
What do you think they should do with those?
Whoa.
Keep it right where it is?
That's
I would
do
round
you
down.
do?
I would round down.
To 2?
Yeah, so you got 3 in one and you got 2 in the other. It's so much
No,
easier to
once you
read.
hit 5, you got to
2.5
round up.
If
It's
you're
math.
counting your...
It's
If you're,
rules.
2.5 carbs.
both-
is
You have to
bullshit.
round up on a 5.
yeah, they're
All
both
right.
at 3.
I'm
That's why you
going to
can't
talk
do
to
this.
Kira.
Wait, why do you guys think Jill's what knows what a
She's
creepy moan is? I'm going back to
I
that
thought you
moan
were-
thing.
I was saying she would be a good referee.
Okay.
And I think Jill is also an expert on rounding.
Judging
because
people? What? Oh.
You're a teacher.
Yeah,
She's a
judging.
trained teacher. So, like,
Yeah.
when it's mathematical, I think Jill is the natural person to go to. John?
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
We're keeping our carbs where they're at.
Taking your resolutions to the next level and try organic light lager with only 2.5 carbs and 85 calories. Ultra Pure
We should
Gold.
just round that up to 100.
Ultra Pure Gold is brewed for your healthy lifestyle. Check out calbrew.com or Cal Brew's Facebook page for brand info and giveaways. Cheers with beers.
Grisolia's Concrete was voted #1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and 2021. Grisolia's Concrete specializes in all of your concrete projects, and they've been using the original cement finish in the
California style.
You're getting into it.
All
now.
right, we got it.
Starting since
Yeah.
72, and also
'cause
offers
Michael Leppert's
stamped
coming on.
and
That's right.
colored concrete. Call now 659-4127 to get your project lined up for the spring.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon. Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo
Try
León,
Electronics.
hechas
Wants
con
to be
amor.
a complete communications
Thank you,
provider.
Kevin.
Try Electronics has been a leader. Was that a
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also,
Keep
Tim
going.
Cook's
We'll-
leader in this
we'll
industry
do the
for more
song
than
next time.
55 years. They're dedicated to assisting our clients with their systems integration needs. Try Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Try Electronics today at 800-722-6793.
Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious taproom and an outside patio. Brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event, like weddings, reunions, and corporate parties. We are conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu.
Thank you to our sponsors, including our premier sponsor, Powering America.
Pow!
See how I filled that space, John,
was
that empty
good.
space?
It was almost like
It's like it's an
we had
acting background.
we made a mistake, and Kevin just like rolled into the next.
Someone's got to
segment.
be the actor here.
It was good stuff. It was good stuff. It
All
was
right.
professional.
Oh.
In the
Back
biz.
to the
That's how they
show.
do it in the biz, Kevin.
I know why you guys
in the
didn't
biz.
hear it.
In the biz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of moan was that, John?
All right.
Was that a...
You know what it
was a
was?
sigh.
You guys sent me this YouTube TikTok thing, and I
Yes.
turned down our headphone volume.
It's always something.
Gotcha.
Boy, it
Okay.
sounds way
So
too
I-
tech for me. There go our viewership.
I prematurely shut off the tortillas ad. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
I turned this knob.
Hey guys, page 1 above the fold. Lockpod.
Wow, look at that. Lockpod in the news. By the way,
Fantastic.
with
That's
a
it.
QR code.
With a QR code.
Right to the lock.
This is
right
our
to-
first QR code
I agree.
as a podcast. First print QR code.
We should make that into a, what do you call those, John? A NP,
If you, the funny
NFT.
thing,
NFT. This is going to be an NFT for
if
Lockpod.
you really, that'll be very valuable, I'm sure. if you put your
You never know.
So anyway, yeah, they did the whole segment about the segment we did on Blair Milo and Frank Mervan.
And how you thought that a good first district congressional race can bode well for your Senate race.
Right. And they said, I thought, I shocked you guys because I dropped an F-bomb last show.
Yes,
and I
they
said,
made it into fouled.
I said, Todd Young, if you had anything to do with this, you up big time, man. I said that, right?
They used fouled.
And they said fouled up in the paper.
I thought that was fair.
That's not that bad.
I thought that was fair.
It was shocking. It was like out of nowhere.
Yes.
It was
the
shocking.
best kind.
It shocked us because we were like, what?
You guys were all like, whoa.
We haven't heard that in
We're
a while
getting
here
the
on
tip jar out.
Lockpod.
I know. Isn't it funny? We don't even really do the swear jar
But
anymore.
nice. I love this above the fold article.
It's good
It's
stuff.
like Lockpod in the news. Thank
By the
you
way,
to the
thank you,
Hammond
Dan,
Times.
and Dan Carden for writing it.
I don't want to call
It
them
sort of freaks me.
NWI Times.
It sort of freaks me out that because usually I know when I'm going to be in the paper because I get interviewed, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get interviewed on this, obviously, because I said it all on
You didn't
on
need
the
to.
pod. Like, it's
put-
pretty much everything
Hold on,
was
let me
said.
hit rewind there a little bit.
Yeah, right. So when I wake up and I'm like a big picture of me staring back at me in the paper, I'm like, what the heck is this about? And
Yeah.
so yeah, it was a good show. You should
QR
listen to
code
it.
to watch Mayor McDermott on his Left of Center podcast. Point your smartphone camera at the QR code, then tap the link.
Yeah, and basically in this one we were talking about what we think about the Blair Milo Frank Mervan matchup, and I made the prediction that Frank Mervan is going to win in November of 2022 by a 2-1 margin, and I'm sticking with that. That's 65-35 type of defeat.
Wow.
That's what I'm
That's
picturing. That's what I'm picturing. I think Frank's going to do really well. He's going to work his butt off, and I think it's going to be a sound defeat.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to win.
Yeah, of course. I already said that I went to Plymouth and Saturday morning. Mayor Tom travels. Not a lot of Mayor Tom traveling this week. It seems like I was busy, and now it's a total focus on the signature campaign. So
Yes.
Mayor Tom travels with me traveling isn't really exciting because I only went to one place and then I did some call time. I went to Plymouth, Indiana, got there real early Saturday morning, talked to the Marshall County Democrats, and I got there a half hour early, and it was like 10 degrees out. Saturday was a real cold morning, and I needed to duck in someplace because the place I was going to wasn't open yet. So
Plymouth's got a nice little downtown.
I walked into a barbershop right there,
Open.
and there was 3 people in there when I walked in. One person cutting, 2 people wait. One person cutting, 1 person waiting, 1 person in the chair. And we all started talking, and it came out who I was. Because they were like, what the heck are you doing here? I had a suit on and all that. And I was like, well, I'm the mayor of Hammond. They're like, oh, nice to see you, Mayor. And they're like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm running for Senate. And they're like, Indiana Senate? And I was like, no, U.S. Senate. And they're like, wow. Like,
Here we are in the barbershop.
but like I was going to get a haircut. And then like I was waiting for a guy to get done in front of me, and there was a Hammond connection with the guy sitting next to me. He knew Pastor Wilkerson from First Baptist Church, but I ended up making all these friends in his barbershop. It was so funny. I was like,
See,
Kevin,
that's retail politics.
Kevin
right
would have
there.
been so proud of me.
I actually
I walk
am.
into a
I
room.
love
and
it.
I just sort of like took over the barbershop, and I
I
was
love
handing
it.
my card out. I was telling them who I was, and I guarantee you these guys vote for me.
There you go.
Because they were geeked. They were like, I can't believe like. They knew I was in the military. The guy in the barber chair. The guy in the barber chair. I'm in a Republican area, heavy Republican. And then he's like, "What do you?" He goes, "I'm a Democrat, so we probably won't get along." And I'm like, "Dude," I'm a Democrat also. And the guy like
He
bonded.
couldn't believe it?
Yeah, because he lives in an area where
Sure,
when you
he
say
just
you're
assumes-
a Democrat, you like, get like shut down, right?
You're the only guy in the room.
Yeah, so it went really well. So
Outstanding. Well, good job in Marshall County. I love the retail politics part of it.
well, good job to my team, and I want to recognize dozens of people that are working so hard for me right now across the state of Indiana. Kevin, why don't you go ahead and do this next part, because we have literally teams of people going to different parts of the state, sometimes staying overnight, getting signatures for my campaign.
Yeah, we were on kind of the final big stretch and dash to the finish here to get 500 signatures per congressional district throughout Indiana for the mayor so he can get on the ballot. And it's no easy task, and it takes a huge team, and there are people around the state, especially some staff members, Leandre Level and Ariel Brandy come to mind specifically.
Ariel's
as well
out of
as,
South Bend.
There's
just
just,
second.
yeah.
Leandre's out of the 7th, which
absolutely.
is Indianapolis.
And you got people like Rose, Tyler, Dominic, Isaac, all these folks that are pitching in around the state, and we absolutely appreciate it. And what we've done...
And the volunteers.
Yeah, that's been great. We've done blitzes. We did a blitz in Fort Wayne. We did a blitz in South Bend. We're doing a blitz in Bloomington.
When you say blitz,
Kokomo.
When you say blitz,
yeah, it's just usually we get volunteers that say, "I'm going to spend a day for the campaign to go get signatures." We knock door to door.
But like you're selling it short a little, Kev.
Yep.
So like when you go to South Bend, you take and Fort Wayne and Kokomo, and which you did yesterday, and then Bloomington. We'll have a lot of people from the region.
Yeah,
like dozens
teams
of 2, 3, dozens of people driving to South Bend and. We give them a list of Democratic doors, and they just pound on doors, just trying to get 5. It's completely impressive, Kevin. You're selling it short because there's so many people I'm grateful to. Like for me, it's incredibly humbling. I'm seeing people driving to Vincennes, driving to Bloomington, driving to Indianapolis. Well, not so much Indy because we're pounding on. We have great guys like Leandre there, but for me to sit back and see people driving across the state, the people I know that live in other parts of the state to pound on doors. It's incredibly...
Yeah, it's been great, and I appreciate all the volunteers that have been willing to do that and take time out of their day, take vacation days, do this for the campaign. It's needed, and so if anybody out there wants to join us, just get a hold of us. We'll be happy to do that. You can private message the pod, and we'll make sure to get a hold of you, or just call my office or call me. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this is kind of cool, is that what I was talking to Phil about this yesterday. It is so enlightening, and it's good to... When you knock on folks' doors, we get so inundated with news and Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and everybody fighting with each other. When you're knocking on doors and you realize that everybody's still out there friendly and talking to you and wants to see you and shake your hand and hear what you're doing, it's really a breath of fresh air. So I would say thank you to the people of Indiana that have welcomed us and the campaign into their neighborhoods.
Kevin, if somebody wants to sign, and they're not from around here, is there somewhere they can go to find out?
Yeah, if you want a form or you want to get a hold of me, my email address for the campaign is kevin.smith@gomcdermott.com. Just send me an email. We'll get you the form. We'll make sure we pick up the form, and we'll be able to get it certified, and will help us get Tom on the ballot. We're running out of time. We're almost to the finish line.
Hey, John.
Hey.
I wanted to cover... I saw a TikTok video this morning that was pertinent and interesting. It has a little bit to do with what's going on in Lake County right now. Why don't we do that, talk about it for a couple minutes, and then we'll bring Mike on. And,
awesome.
And Kevin, you see it, I gave you a note. There's one subject I want to hold for Mike Leppert's interview.
Yeah, we'll hold it.
Okay. So, because I want to see what Mike has to say about one of our talking points. Okay. But I thought it was pertinent when I saw this TikTok video yesterday. Could you play this real quick, John?
Yeah.
It's a video of a sheriff being pulled over by an officer, and it's similar to what's going on here.
Good afternoon. I'm Officer Henry with the Wilson Police Department. The reason for the stop today is because I clocked you 37 and a 25.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I get your driver's license real quick, Mr. Bryant?
You really want my driver's license?
I just want to look at it.
Huh?
I said
I'm the sheriff. I'm not giving you my license. I'm the sheriff.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not giving you my driver's license.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. I appreciate you.
Do you?
It keeps going.
Sit tight for me real quick.
Now the sheriff's getting out of the truck.
You realize I'm the sheriff of this county?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm the sheriff of this county. All right.
Okay.
You pulled me over. You've made your contact. You gonna
Okay.
write me a ticket?
I mean, I wasn't going to. I was just going to make sure you had your
write me a
driver's
ticket?
license on you.
I got my driver's license.
I was just I was just asking to look at it, and then I was going to send you on about your day.
Okay.
That's all I was doing.
What do you think, guys?
What?
That dude's a dick.
The officer or the sheriff?
The sheriff.
Okay.
Probably a young officer.
Okay, John. And by the way, it's an unmarked car. By the way, it's a.
I thought it looked like it had police plates.
Maybe it has police plates, but it's a black truck. It doesn't. It's not a normal marked police car. Right.
Fair.
Okay, John.
This is the first time I saw it on the air, and I can't help but think of what's going on in Lake County here.
By the way, if you're not familiar, in Lake County, we had our sheriff indicted for a similar type of situation, indicted over a traffic violation.
And this sheriff's on video going, I'm not giving my license, you know, essentially let me go.
So basically, if the same rules applied where this sheriff lives that apply in Lake County, this sheriff should be indicted and removed from office. That's a question mark. Because I think it's bullshit, personally. We're going through this in Lake County where our Lake County sheriff is under indictment for a traffic violation. I think that is completely insane. All right. And, you know, I'm not saying this in this video that the sheriff's right. Okay. I'm not saying that.
Right.
He's acting like a jerk, actually, the sheriff in this video. However, he's the freaking sheriff. He's the top police officer. Would this officer pull over his city chief? Probably not. But he pulls over the chief of the chiefs?
And maybe this is a question for police folks out there, officers, the men and women that help us secure our cities and towns and serve us and protect us. Don't they usually run the plate and know something about the car before they get out?
They probably did.
Right.
So, like, wouldn't they run the plate and be like, oh, that's a law enforcement vehicle?
And usually, wouldn't you just be like, oh, my God, that's the sheriff. Sorry, sheriff. Have a nice day.
Or I imagine, or a fellow officer.
99 times out of 100, I imagine that's how it works.
I would say like 999 out of 1,000.
But you know you pulled over the sheriff, and you're asking for his license? What the hell is that?
Yeah. It almost
like the sheriff doesn't have his driver's license, or the sheriff has a warrant for his arrest? Like, what? That seems like a political...
Well, then it ends up on TikTok. I mean,
I almost wonder if there's some other story here.
Yeah, like the sheriff and the local police department don't get along.
There is. There's got to be, right? By the way, sort of a similar story to what's going on in Lake County.
Well, but in Sheriff Oscar's situation, he did not pull over, and that's the allegation. So, I mean, there wasn't even any contact, I guess.
Put yourself in Oscar's car. And, I mean, I've been pulled over by the Hammond PD. Sure. And I pulled over, and what happened was the officer walked up to the car, and I was taking a picture of his car because I was going to make a video of it. I was not a video. I was doing a Facebook post, like
in a fun way. Not
right?
like criticizing.
And the officer pulled up, and I was in Marissa's car, so I wasn't in my normal car. And the officer pulled up and goes, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, Mayor Tom." And he goes, you know, it was right in front of City Hall. It was funny. And I was laughing, and he was laughing. He's like, "I apologize, Mayor Tom." He goes, "Try to slow it down when you're going through this area." I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong either, because there's some people who felt I should have got a ticket. It wasn't that fast, by the way. Mm-hmm. It was like 40 and a 35 or something like that, right? And, you know, but
you weren't like rude to the guy. You're like, thanks for, no worries.
I'm not the sheriff, though.
Yep.
I'm not the chief. I'm not the sheriff. I'm a civilian, right? It's different for the sheriff. He's the chief of the chiefs. He's the top law enforcement officer in Lake County, outside of the U.S. Marshal. And you're trying to pull over the top dog. It's just, and then you're going to indict him over politics. It's bullshit. The whole thing is stupid, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We're going to keep following it.
He'll never get indicted. I mean, he'll never get convicted of that.
Well, I mean, that's up to a jury.
He'll never get convicted. He'll probably plead to a misdemeanor. So, hey, let's get to our guest.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to. Bring on Michael Leppert, please.
Here
Mike
he is.
Leppert, why don't you bring him in? Hi, Mike. How's it going? Can you hear me all right? Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going great. Can you hear me?
On Lockpod. You're our first author on Lockpod, so I feel very honored. I've known Mike for probably going on close to 20 years. I've known you through the State House to be obviously very smart. I knew you as a columnist, contrarian, and now you've published 2 books, which is quite an honor. So welcome to Lockpod, Mike Leppert.
122 episodes.
I was thinking about that. I'm not sure. I was
trying to make him feel good, Kevin. Come on.
Well, this book, I mean, this is pretty amazing that we got a copy of the book.
Well, it's definitely our first author of a work of fiction.
There you yeah, sure. Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah. And this is your first work of fiction also, right, Mike? Flipping the Circle.
It is, yes.
First of many. I tell you, I think you're onto something. It's a great story. It reminds me a lot of the types of shenanigans that you sometimes see as a lobbyist, I imagine, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. It's an extreme version of a big version of the kinds of things we see on a small scale, relatively often, in pockets and silos and that sort of thing. But this was the more most elaborate plan I've ever seen, and I needed to fictionalize it and put it into storytelling terms so we could all enjoy it. But yeah, it's a lesson that I think people need to read. I think people need to understand that the swamp is not singular. There are swamps all around.
I thought so. Is it fair to say that Willow Courtney might also be Michael Leppert in some instances around Indianapolis and things like that?
Absolutely, absolutely. That is taken off of me. Now, in that character, just like all the other main characters, there are several things that people on my team would say, "You didn't do that, I did that."
That's right.
But
That's
tough
right.
shit. They
Take
didn't
all the
write the
cool
book,
things
so,
that others did.
But like
So
that's
I
the
get all
interesting
for it.
thing about writing fiction, and I've actually thought about this, Mike, and I'm really jealous, and I admire you for what the diligence it took to sit down and write a book of 344 pages, I believe. And the thing about fiction that's awesome is you've seen so many things in your role as a lobbyist, and your role as a teacher, and just an observer of politics. You could sort of take the different stories and combine them into one spectacular story, which it appears that that's sort of where you're going with this, right? Obviously, the fictional character in this book is not you, but it's sort of like a supersized version of you, maybe, or just a person that sees everything.
Yeah, and it's amazing that people, the book's not been out very long, but a lot of people who I didn't expect to read it have read it, and I've gotten a lot of messages and a lot of phone calls saying, this story reminds me of the time, blah blah blah. And I've had 25 conversations with current and former players in the State House that have said, I love the story and it reminds me of something else. In the last few weeks, especially since the holidays. I think a lot of people got the book for Christmas and started reading it afterward. And so it's all like, why is this avalanche coming on? The book's been out for 2 months, and I can see the pattern out there. But yeah, it's stricken a chord with a lot of people who have experiences that
I think
are sort of kind of
things
like it.
You start off, I think the first sentence of the book is off-track betting parlors are dreadful places, right? There's your first sentence. And you go in to talk about a place that's a real place, the Winner's Circle, that the mayor and I have been at.
Mm-hmm.
It's smoke-filled. There's always, there were always people there that were important.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just as you described. So I thought that was I was like, whoa, I'm like reading
the back
about a
table and
place
the
where
Winner's
I've
Circle,
been.
right?
Yeah, it was just really neat.
Yeah, it's fun to see and to have been at the off-track betting facility before the Winner's Circle opened, which was an off-track, an OTB that most people would say is a typical OTB.
Yeah,
the Winner's
right.
Circle actually is a nice place where people like to go and just hang out, and have a good afternoon, good evening, whatever. But yeah, describing that, walking people through that scene that repeats itself every day was a fun.
Yeah, and
part
I thought
of
another thing
story.
I noticed in the kind of the back end of the book, you talk about your purpose for writing the book, and you said you want to bring to light types of manipulation or control the American electorate cedes to others by not staying active in its governmental and political processes. So, are you saying that, like, I was trying to figure this out? Are you saying I want to bring this to light because people rely on our elected representatives to keep an eye on these things, and maybe they don't all the time? Or is it just that you want people to be more aware of what the real story is and how this happens in state governments all over the country?
Yeah, well, I want people to take more responsibility for their government in a more full-time way. A lot of people are disengaged, disconnected. They just like you were describing. You send people off to Indianapolis or to Washington or whatever state you're in, and you trust them, you voted for them, and you don't ever see anything that gives you a reason to question why you put them there. This is a good example of a story, and
There you go.
maybe I need to write a second book, but the elections that followed this real life version of the story had no consequences for the people that were involved with this. None. I mean, absolutely none. And it's not like someone didn't get beat. Someone didn't lose a voter. And the real life version of this was well documented by the media, beyond reproach. No one was saying that what they reported was untrue, and a couple of publications did a good job of reporting it. And the people who were involved with it in the State House went on about their business, and the voters didn't care. A bit, and I'm very concerned that people think that partisanship trumps corruption, and that's just. And you guys have been around, and I just got done listening to the Destiny Wells episode, and this was you mentioned this on the your last episode about how Lake County has this reputation. None of this happened in Lake County.
Right.
None of this had anything to do with Lake County, and I've known lots of corrupt stories, as you guys know. And people get
Right.
run out of office in Lake County for corruption. No
That's
one got
crazy.
run
You
out of
talk about
office
that
over
mayor all
this
the
one,
time.
though.
It's a double
And
standard. It's a double
that's-
standard
that's
in
outrageous.
Indiana. There's different rules if you're a
Absolutely.
Democrat versus if you're a Republican, and it's just a fact. And look at you don't have to go back more than 6 years. And with my future opponent Todd Young, he didn't get his certified signatures that you need to run for office. But if you're Thank you. I appreciate
Glad
it.
you brought that up.
Isn't it great, Mike?
I
I
was gonna
mean,
bring
if I
that
come
up.
up one signature short out of the 4,500 I need to get, there's no chance in hell I'll be on the ballot because the state election board won't let that happen. But Todd Young legitimately missed signatures 6 years ago and was still allowed to run. That's just a courtesy extended to Republicans in Indiana that would not be extended to Democrats.
Right, I'm glad you were talking about that earlier and all the work that Kevin and the team is doing on this. That's not a small task.
Keep me up
it's
at night.
It's not small. People think, it's 2 signatures. You guys are working hard for those signatures, just like Todd Young was, and he came up short. And that part of the process is something that people need to have a greater respect for. Getting back to your original question, Kevin, I think that is the thing that I would like for these kinds of stories to encourage people. You don't have to be vitriolic and crazed about it, but you do have to pay attention beyond Election Day. And when people go down and represent you and they do the wrong thing, obviously the people involved with this were in it for the money. That had nothing to do with representing people, had nothing to do with public service. It had to do with profiteering. And the people that were involved with it should have been ran out of that building. Absolutely ran out of that building. The lobbyists involved with it and the legislators involved with it should have been ran out of that building. And there were no consequences at all. And that's the reason for telling the story is let's talk about this. Let's continue to talk about this because what the response to it was just woefully inadequate.
And Michael,
just across
before we
the
kind of
board.
move on to some current politics, I want to make sure people know how to get Flipping the Circle. What's the best way to get it? I assume on Amazon and other great places like that.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon and Audible and all the platforms.
Is it in audio also, Mike?
Anywhere. Yeah, the Audible version came out around Christmas
Who did
time.
the voice?
We put out a
Did you do the
release
voice?
on that last week. I did not do the voice.
I would have offered for you. I got this great nasally little voice. I think it would work.
Oh, I have there's about three or four characters
next time,
you've been
next time.
priceless for. But yeah, I didn't do the voice, and then I had a dispute over one of the characters, and this process has been a learning one for me. But
Good for
yeah,
you.
we hired a pro.
I'm super
I
proud of
hired
you,
a pro
Mike. This is really
for
cool,
it, so.
and it's inspirational for me because honestly, I know a lot of stories also, but there's some things that I wouldn't
Yes,
want to
you
do in a biography because there's some stories I wouldn't want to tell because but if you did it fictionally. If you do it fictionally, you could just be like, "Oh, this is just sort of made
It's
up."
not real.
It's not real.
Never
It's fiction.
happened.
This is a work of fiction, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you'll find when you do that, because I trust that someday you will, that trying to follow what really happened becomes a real burden when you start creating stories that are slightly more entertaining, slightly more engaging than
Let
the
me ask you a
tedious
question,
nature
Michael.
of the
Did
real
you have
life
any
version. So,
blowback? Like maybe a little too real that somebody's like, "Hey, Michael, what the hell? You put our story in, anything like that come back at you?"
no, I think the people that might be a little bit tense about it are not inclined to call me.
That's hey, you do it also on michaelleppert.com, Michael Leppert, Leppert.com. You do regular columns, which I find very interesting and very funny and very poignant. And you did one recently about Todd Young opens his campaign in a Trumpy way. Could you talk a little bit about that? It's about his most recent ad. He did $250,000 worth of ads, which tells me he's worried about his reelection and he's got money to spend. But it was about the border wall.
Yeah. I broke that ad down, and that's a little bit the kind of thing that I do, that I teach now at the Kelly School is take messages and try to make sense of them and see what connects and what doesn't connect and those kinds of things. So I'm on Todd Young's list, and I don't want to get off of it. I'm surprised
They probably will now.
His fundraiser list, whatever. And I've written a couple of columns about stuff I get from him. But this one, I got the ad and I was like, he's out already with an ad. Let's see what this is. Let's see how he's opening the campaign, which was the reason why I clicked on it so fast and listened to it. To me, it's beneath him to talk about the stuff that's in that ad. There are things in there that are just intellectually offensive to anyone who approaches things that way. First of all, and second of all, one of the things that bothers me about not just Senator Young, but all kinds of other people in that circle right now that are in the Republican caucus, they're trying to say, this is what I've done for you. You tell me what the Senate Republican caucus has done, especially in particular in the last year.
That's right.
Have they passed bills? Have they done things that matter? No, they're just obstructionists. And so it's hard to say, good for me because I was against everything that was going on that might have made a difference. And so to open with, and I opened the column with 2016's column, and they want their bad ideas back. That's exactly what this is. This is red meat that's offensive, and then the dishonesty in it, that this is a problem of Joe Biden's making. We've had a problem with the immigration policy and process in this country for so long, but according to Todd Young's commercial,
where it says they hated Donald Trump so much they opened up the border.
That's right.
That's the opener.
That's madness. That's the first sentence, and it's just, are you kidding me? Do you really think that anything Joe Biden is doing right now is because he's mad at Donald Trump?
The thing that strikes me, Mike, is we sent Todd Young to the U.S. Senate for 6 years to represent us. During his time in office, the Republicans had the Senate, had the House, and the presidency, and I find it hard to complain about the city of Hammond, personally, because I've been in charge of it for 18 years. And if I'm complaining publicly about the city of Hammond, you won't find me doing that because it's my fault. If there's something wrong and I didn't fix it, I've been in office. Todd Young's been in Washington, D.C. for 12 years. Right. What have you done to make immigration better? We've given you the U.S. Senate for 6 years. What have you done with it? And you're complaining about Joe Biden?
And he was the majority.
And he was in the majority. You did nothing about it. Now you're complaining about it and just trying to score points and use it as a wedge issue, and it's just not right.
Right, and I agree that Todd Young knows things and should know things. He spends a lot of time in the space on foreign affairs. He has some reasonable positions about things overseas. Yemen in particular, he's done some advocacy and some work on. The point is that if you really think that the wall and the border is your issue, what have you done to create what we all know needs to happen, which is a bipartisan solution to a problem
that's his lead-off issue.
The answer is ads like this.
I bet you he said something about being a Marine in there too, right?
9 seconds in.
Third sentence. I thought it was the second sentence.
As a Marine.
Oh, yeah. As a Marine.
He had a nice, he's like kind of in a buff T-shirt, walking the wall.
Oh, yeah. Looking like...
I mean, John,
But he turned me down for a celebrity boxing match.
He's I don't know. He looked pretty tough. I don't know. At least walking the wall, dusting up the wall, the 1,300 miles from the Indiana border.
Well, I withdrew my offer for the record, so, I was in really good shape when I made that. So for the record, if he does take it up, it's, that offer's been revoked. Interesting thing about Mike and his wife Amy, excellent golfers, right? I mean,
yes, yeah, especially her. She's a trophy hog.
You are.
I'm a gentleman about it. When she goes out there, she wants to beat your brains in. So, and because she wants it so bad, she does it a lot. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Favorite course in Indiana?
Golf and Country Club.
Which is your favorite course in Indiana?
Favorite course in Indiana?
Okay.
Wow, I love that course.
It's difficult,
right? That course is awesome, and that's super fancy.
Yeah, we got a few. You
ever golf at the Marsh?
You got some good up there too.
The Last Marsh.
I'm sorry.
Would you and Amy come up and be my guest, and I'll put you up? You guys will love this course. It's in Hammond. You can see the Chicago skyline from there. It's really, I think you'll love the course. It's excellent.
Oh.
I'll give you a gift certificate from Lockpod for the Last Marsh golf course.
Just don't get it from Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, well, while you're giving stuff away, I
got
want
it.
one of those cups. I'm getting one of
those. You got it,
brother.
I'll give you and Amy, and inside Kevin's cup will be 2 gift certificates for the Last Marsh golf course for you and Amy. And how's everything going? You guys doing well?
Oh yeah, we're doing well. Hey, I wanted to point something out.
Thank you.
I'm on your list too, and you haven't gotten my support that you're going to get yet. But I love that I get the email and it's just addressed to Leppert.
Really?
Wow,
that's
and
awesome.
It's fantastic. I don't, I have so many because now I've got 100 students, and some of them want to call you Mister, some of them want to call you Professor. It's like, look, all of my friends just call me Leppert. And you're the only one
Thanks,
that
brother.
sends me an email like that. And every
that
time I
was all
open
me.
it, I smile.
So how long have you been teaching at Kelly School, Mike?
I started teaching at O'Neill in 2019, but I became full-time
That's
faculty
awesome.
at Kelly
You know,
in August.
Kevin's son, Ethan.
So this is my
Kevin's son, Ethan, is a
my
senior.
second
Yeah, I've got a
semester.
senior there at Kelly, and I actually sent him a text yesterday. I said, you need to take Mr. Leppert's or Professor Leppert's classes. So maybe you'll get him in class.
Well, he probably took my class already. It's mainly freshmen and sophomores that are in my class. So you should ask him about biz presentations. Most kids will say,
All right.
I had the most fun in that class. So it's awesome. The class is set up for me to be the most popular
So, Mike,
guy
how does that
on
work? So you
campus.
start off as an adjunct. If you hang out for a while, you'll get offered full professorship. Is that the hope?
Well, no. I got an offer to teach. Actually, it was an offer made to Amy, and Amy couldn't do it, to teach a public law and government relations class at O'Neill. And I took that right when I was starting my graduate work at Northwestern. And a month in, I knew
awesome.
that I wanted to teach. And so when I got done, I was actually looking for jobs all over the country. And the communications department at the Kelly School had an opening that just perfectly fit my resume. And so I jumped, and they took me, and the rest is I'll be there until until
I
I
used to
can't
teach
do
at
it anymore.
PNW before. That was when I first took over as mayor, and it was one of the best 10 years of my life. I taught for 10 years there. I loved it. It's just so much work, though. And I was literally getting peanuts for a tremendous amount of work. And at a certain point, I had to prioritize.
What a great
know?
honor, though, to be at the Kelly School. That's great. Congrats.
Oh yeah, no, I got to sell books so that I can afford to do what I really enjoy, which is teaching. Yeah, I love that job. I mean, I come home tired, just like you said. It is a lot of work, but I have a whole new array of stories and experiences.
Do you
just
travel
in a
back
short
and forth
time,
to
so I'm
Bloomington
very
every day from
excited
Indy
about
then?
it. I do. All my classes this semester are stacked up in 2 days, so I'm only down there 2 days. I'll go down there a third day to do some office hours and some observing and stuff. My O'Neill, I kept my O'Neill class, so I teach a class in O'Neill, but it's only in the fall. So
Gotcha.
in the fall,
Well,
I'm there
Michael,
4
thanks for
days.
coming on. Michael Leppert, blogger, author, columnist, former lobbyist, and you can get Flipping the Circle on Amazon, Audible, or any of the places you love to get great fiction.
And Mike, you and Amy, please come up to Hammond. I will take care of you guys. I'll even go out. If it's during the summer when it's a little less busy for me, I'd love to go out. You guys can show me a couple things on the course, because I think.
Yeah, we'll
Please
do that.
do
We
that.
got to get up there anyway. So yeah,
Thank you.
I'll put this on the list
Thanks
of
for everything you
reasons
do,
why,
Michael.
and we'll get
And
this done.
congratulations on your new book. I'm looking forward to the next
Yeah.
one. Great.
All right.
It's Michael Leppert.
Yeah, thanks for having
author.
me, guys.
Great guy. Thank you, sir. Wow. That was a good interview.
That was exciting.
See, I love interviewing people that are easy to interview, like him. Honestly, like he's just easy, and sometimes you're pulling teeth trying to get people to talk. And with a guy like Mike, he just like
It's great to have smart people on.
Yeah, it's just smart and interesting. He's seen a million things, and that's awesome. Is really, and it's inspirational to me. I'm not BSing.
No, I know you've thought about
I've
doing
actually
the book many times.
I have my book, like the first 3 paragraphs written. I mean, not the first. Excuse me, the first 3 chapters written, and it's a good story. I know where I want to go with it, and it's a work of fiction also, just like Michael's book. And that's the thing is just to actually have the discipline to sit down and pound it out it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to guys like Michael Leppert and Dave Werpel. I mean, Dave Werpel just had a book.
Dave
out,
Werpel,
so,
we're
I
going to
mean,
get
our-
on also. In
yeah.
fact, why don't we go ahead and line that up? We'll get Werpel, another author, in the studio.
He'll be our second author. I guess he was the first author on our.
I guess, but he wasn't in here as an author.
That's
He was
right.
in here as a personality. But yeah, we got to get David in here also. But Michael Leppert's book, Flipping the Circle, comes highly recommended. I know a number of people that read it and loved it. I've read a couple paragraphs in it, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Obviously, I'm a little busy right now running around the state, but I want to thank Michael very much for coming on. We never did get to talk to him about the Todd Young.
FAA thing.
Yeah, you want to do that real quick? Or?
Yeah, finish it up.
One of the things we've been talking about is Todd Young voted against infrastructure.
Some more crystal ball stuff. Like, watch what happens.
No, this is Todd Young's. Senator Todd Young is going to take credit for the money that was in the American Rescue Plan that he voted against. He's going to take credit for the monies that were in the Infrastructure Act that he
Jobs
voted
vote.
against. And we have friends on the airport board of Indianapolis that shed light on issues for us. And one of them received a letter recently, and this is from Todd Young's chief of staff. Okay. And in the letter, it says, on Thursday, the FAA will announce the annual allocation amounts for airports receiving funds via the Airport Infrastructure Grants Program. And
Created under the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Doesn't say that Todd Young voted against, but
Bipartisan.
And
Oh,
and
boy.
in IND, which is the designation for Indianapolis, I imagine.
Indianapolis Airport,
Right. Will receive $13.1 million per year over the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's 60. What is that? 65 million, 50. Yeah, 75 million almost. Yeah.
Significant, right? 70 mil in that
Yeah,
ballpark, right?
65 million.
So if Indianapolis Airport's going to receive $70 million, so Todd Young's chief of staff sends a letter to the board and says, hey, you guys got $70 million coming. I know you're happy about that. And then the next paragraph says, well, Senator Young was not able to support final passage of the larger bill due to issues unrelated to the airports. He was one of 6 bipartisan senators on the airport's working group that developed this part of the bill, and we are very pleased to see these allocation numbers.
Here we go.
Todd,
Give me some credit.
Todd, you voted against the bill. You voted against this funding. We're not going to sit back and watch you try to take credit for things that you voted against. I hate to break it to you, Senator Young. You voted against $75 million for the Indianapolis airport. And we're not going to sit back quietly as you try to fool Hoosiers into making them think that you actually support that. You voted against it,
I'm going
Todd.
to smooth this in with this nicely written letter.
If you think we're going to sit back and let you talk bullcrap like this and try to fool Hoosiers into believing that you actually support the airport, you're crazy. And don't be sending this trash out, okay? Because we're going to take it and we're going to highlight it. I'm just telling you, Senator Young, you voted against $75 million for the Indianapolis airport. You voted against money for schools across Indiana, money for bridges, money for broadband. You voted against improving our state.
I mean, to really say what he did, he voted against every city and town in Indiana.
Against your schools.
Every city and town. Every city and town in Indiana received American Rescue Plan money. He voted
And
against that
every
bill.
school district across the state received ARP money. Todd Young voted against it. If you're having trouble getting internet connections in your home so that your kid could e-learn,
So you can listen to Lockpod.
so you can listen, well, so your kid could e-learn.
Even more important.
Right? And you can't get that Wi-Fi signal because you have bad broadband. There's money in this bill that Todd voted against that would help improve broadband connections across the state. Todd Young is absolutely insane if he thinks he's going to send out junk like this
And not get called out.
and not get called out for it, because I'm going to call him out every day. So he
Wait
voted
till
against.
he attends a ribbon cutting.
So if you're in Marion County listening right now, if you're, he voted against $75 million for Indianapolis Airport, money that's badly needed for a gorgeous airport, by the way, and to make it even more effective. And Todd Young is an obstacle. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up with Mike. We forgot to do so, but I thought Mike Leppert was a great guest. What'd you think, Jill? Good?
Yeah, he was interesting.
Yeah, right. I'm
cool
buying I already bought the book personally, but I'm sure hopefully we could spur hundreds of more sales for him because he's an interesting guy, and I'm sure it's a great story.
And I'm sure this episode will be up on Apple Pod in no time.
Right.
Within 72 hours.
John, what'd you think? That was a good interview, right?
Yeah, that was the first time I met Michael.
Yeah, Mike's a good dude.
All right. Wrap it up, Locomotive.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Tuesday's edition of Left of Center. We'll be back on Friday. Guestless at this point, I believe, which is great. That means
We'll be ready.
We'll be ranting. We got lots of material to talk about. And I want to thank you, Kevin, for, by the way, all sincerity, for all the incredible hard work you're doing as campaign manager.
Let's just get to the finish line
This
first.
is no bull crap, man. Like Vez, he's working stupid hours right now, right?
We just want to get,
I'm going to send you and
Thank
Janet.
you, by the way.
It's
Thank
true,
you.
man.
I appreciate that. I just want to get to the finish line.
I want you to get to the finish line healthy too. You got to take care
We'll
of
do
yourself.
it. We
You
got
gotta
once we
sleep.
get those 500
You got to
per,
sleep.
I
And
will.
you got to like
I
be
will.
jogging and stuff
Yes,
you're looking
yes.
a little
I'm
shaky.
Well, it's a little nerve-wracking right now.
You're looking a
so
little shaky.
I don't
I can't
want
lose
to. We
you.
don't want to let you down.
I look really good because I've been sleeping and resting.
That's
and
where we
all
want
that.
the candidate
I
to
agree,
be.
but like you need to get to the finish line with
Thank
me,
you.
big guy. So take care of yourself.
I
and
will.
pace
Thank
yourself.
you.
Jill,
Thank you.
thanks for being in the studio again. It's great to see you.
Sure.
Yeah, and Jay Vez.
Yeah.
I sincerely meant that apology. This is a new Tom right
I
now.
see that.
Did you guys see that?
I
I've
noticed
changed
that.
my ways. Now that I'm running for U.S. Senate, I've changed. I'm not going to be ranting. I'm not going to be constantly critical. I'm going to take a step back and tell people how much I love and
I
appreciate,
appreciate
them.
that.
Wow.
I love
Look at
and
this.
appreciate you, John Vesmar.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
This is
is
a new
quiet.
Tom McDermott on Lockpod.
It's just quiet.
We'll
in
see
the
you on
studio
Friday
now.
morning. We're going with a different vibe on Lockpod.
We'll see what time we get on Friday.
It's all
Yeah.
about love on Friday.
Oh,
It's all about love and friendship and building
see.
bridges.
All right.
That's what
We'll
it's
see
all
what
about with
happens.
me. Building bridges and loving people. I'll see you guys on Friday. Left of Center. Thanks for being great listeners.